So does tretinoin, retinol, does that actually thin down my skin? Why are people saying that I have to stop using it before I do something like waxing, or if I'm going for any laser treatments or microneedling? What's the whole reason behind that? And really at the end of the day, it is because of what we call the apoptosis of the cell, so the killing off of the top layer of the skin, forcing the bottom layer to reproduce faster. It is within that cycle. That's the reason why they want you to slow down or stop using any form of retinoid. So that, like I said before, can be your tretinoin, your retinol, even bakuchiol, although that one has a different mechanism. So that one is not as sensitive when it comes to waxing or using any other treatments, but still plays a factor in the sense that we want to make sure we kind of give the skin a bit of time to recover before we do controlled damage. And controlled damage does mean exfoliation, which you do get when you do any type of waxing. So if you like to wax your upper lip or other parts of your face, that will cause a little bit of exfoliation. So we got to be mindful of that. And you want to stop using your tretinoin or any form of a retinoid at least 3 to 5 days prior to your appointment. The second aspect, as I mentioned before, is it doesn't thin down the skin. It actually thickens and firms up the skin. But like I said, it's that top layer where people are going, I'm noticing like it feels like it's thinner or it's more sensitive. Typically it's because of that cell cycle. As for some people, it's not that big of an issue and their skin will acclimatize to it. And then that way it's just nice, strong, thick, hardy. They can wax the day before, the wax after. It doesn't affect them. But that's not the case with all skin types. And it depends on the individual. Really, genetics do play a big part in this and how long they've been on that form of retinoid. But for safety's sake, we always tell them, at least a good technician or esthetician will always say, please stop using any form of vitamin A. So that's tretinoin, retinol, bakuchiol. You really want to stop using it 3 to 5 days before your service. Here's the interesting thing. There is more research coming up, but you can actually bring your retinoid back into your skincare routine depending on which version. Tretinoin, it's not recommended to bring back for at least between 2 to 2 weeks. And the reason being is it depends on the severity of the treatment being done. So if you've had something fairly minor like waxing or just a decent microneedling, but nothing too crazy, you're used to using your tretinoin on a regular basis, you can introduce that a little bit faster. But again, always go based on the advice of the person providing you with that treatment, because that will be dependent on how deep they go, how much damage they do. So you always listen to your technician on that one. But retinol, typically you can go back and start using it, or bakuchiol, you can typically go back and start using it, usually within 2 to 3 days after a treatment. You just want to make sure that the skin isn't super hypersensitive, but you do want to get that cell renewal going, so you can actually bring it in a little bit faster than what it used to be. It's the tretinoin you have to be really careful about. And when in doubt, just give it a couple, tretinoin, I would say just give it a week or two, depending on how aggressive your treatment was before you start putting her back into your skincare routine.